The land was woven into Henry's very essence. Generations of his family had nurtured this parcel of Iowa soil, and to him, it was more than mere earth. It was the legacy of his ancestors, rich in memory and toil. Each blade of grass, gnarled root, and whispering breeze told a story of love, labor, and life itself. As he wandered through his fields, he could feel the very heartbeat of the land pulsing beneath his feet, a connection that transcended time. In his youth, the farm felt like a vibrant canvas, painted with the laughter of family gatherings and the brightness of harvest. Memories unspooled like golden threads, recalling the joy of picking ripe corn and the warmth of shared meals under starlit skies. His father's rugged hands, calloused but tender, guided him, instilling a sense of pride and purpose. Those joyful days, filled with the promise of prosperity, seemed like a distant dream now, overshadowed by the looming specter of decline. As seasons turned, a shifting landscape unfolded before Henry's eyes. Cornrows, once lush with life, now stood brittle and brown, forlorn under the weight of despair. Time had not only robbed him of his crops, but also the very fabric of his community. Friends and neighbors succumbed to the pressures of modern agriculture. Their farms sold to faceless entities, leaving behind empty fields echoing with the silence of loss. Alone amidst the encroaching shadows, Henry fought to keep hope alive while knowing deep down that his family's heritage was slipping through his fingers, akin to dry sand beneath the harsh sunlight. The finality of it all struck him the hardest under the cold glow of the kitchen light, surrounded by unpaid bills and the specter of impending change. The thought of signing the auction notice, a paper that would sever ties with his past, weighed heavy on his heart. Even as dawn broke with the promise of a new day, it heralded the end of an era. With a trembling hand, he signed away the land that had cradled his dreams, leaving behind a world that had given him so much, and yet taken just as much in return. In that moment, Henry felt a profound loss, not just of land, but of legacy, dreams, and the unbroken bond between a man and his soil. In the chill of a grey day, Henry stood on the threshold of an unthinkable reality, facing the impending auction of his beloved farm. Each moment was thick with unspoken farewells, as the weight of his heritage pressed down on him like the heavy clouds above. Friends and neighbors, though dwindling in number, arrived to offer their support, their presence a mix of solidarity and sorrow. Their gentle nods and quiet words were no balm for Henry's heart, which felt like it was fracturing under the burden of loss. It wasn't just land that was slipping away. With each passing moment, he felt something vital within himself dimming, like the fading light of a setting sun. As the auctioneer's gavel descended for the last time, an oppressive silence enveloped the gathering. The realization that his land had changed hands washed over Henry like a sudden chill. Strangers were now custodians of his history, the fields he had nurtured, and memories he had cherished now lost to him. He and Maggie returned to a modest townhouse, a shell where the echoes of his past were replaced with hollow spaces. No longer did he roam the fields. Instead, he walked streets devoid of meaning, nodding to familiar faces, yet feeling like a phantom adrift in a world that no longer welcomed him. Weeks melted into months, each day an echo of the last, as Henry wrestled with the emptiness that engulfed him. He sat on the porch, lost in thoughts of swaying corn and whispering winds, his daughter's visits a distant flicker of warmth in the cold. "Come help us in the garden, Dad," she offered, her hands reflecting the toil of nurturing life. He offered a faint smile, yet his spirit remained tethered to the land he could no longer touch. Days turned into a blur of faded memories, each one a reminder of the purpose stripped away. One winter morning, a serene stillness hung around the porch where Henry sat. His hands created a quiet tableau of peace. The horizon held no promise. It was merely the gateway to a land his heart had already traversed. In that moment, he slipped away, his connection to the earth he loved, unbroken but transcendent. At his funeral, the community gathered one last time, sharing stories bathed in nostalgia. The breeze whispered through the naked trees, a gentle reminder of Henry's spirit. He was gone, yet he lingered in the essence of the land he had toiled, the very heart of a farmer that would forever echo through the fields.